Most combat aircraft are classified as fighters, bombers, or ground attack planes. The Soviet Myasishchev Aircraft Construction Bureau's M-25, or Theme-25, which was designed between 1969 and 1972, did not. It was an attack plane designed to destroy enemies with its sonic boom. Want to know more? Hey guys, welcome to our channel Future Warplanes, where we tell you about military fighter jets, military drones, and military planes from the currently famous in the air to the most advanced around the world. So stay with us till the end of this video so you don't miss out on any of this information. But before we proceed, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon so that you don't miss out on any of our amazing videos in the future. And let's get started. The story starts in southwestern Russia in the closing months of 1968. A lone MiG-21S Fishbed fighter jet screams in the cold, dry air above Lipeck farmland, gaining speed as the pilot pushes the throttle grip. He reaches the edge of a large proving ground, gently nudges the flight stick forward, and levels at a few dozens of meters. The afterburner kicks in. The jet achieves supersonic flight. A tremendous shockwave echoes above the barren, frozen ground, with chunks of dirt and dried grass flung high into the air and trailing behind like a sideways hurricane. Any MiG pilot can tell that at supersonic speeds, a fighter transforms into a bomber. You're flying on rails, the flight stick is rubber, and even the smallest maneuver strains the airframe tremendously. The farther away the deadly ground is from you, the better. However, secret military experiments are not meant to be safe. Several sensors are scattered on the ground in the MiG's flight path. Narrow steel tubes that look like metal pens are mounted on bench-like stands made of roughly welded tubing. They tremble as the plane swoops overhead, and the result is recorded. On June 17, 1969, Vladimir Vasilyevich Struminsky, director of the Institute of Theoretical and Applied Mechanics of the Siberian branch of the Academy of Sciences of the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, walks through the corridor of the Ministry of Aviation Industry in Moscow. He is a tall, fit man with hawkish facial features, an incredibly long job title, and a folder labeled Top Secret in his hands. The folder contains the report on previous experiments, as well as the Ministry Council's decision on a new project proposal to begin development of Theme-25, special-purpose sonic wave ground attack aircraft. The ministry directed the Institute and the Soviet Air Force to conduct low-level supersonic flight experiments with the MiG-21 in a remote proving ground. The reason for such an order is unclear and contains a mystery in and of itself. But the outcome was clear. Struminsky would be given funding, manpower, and connections to continue developing Theme-25. Although the maximum pressure generated by the MiG-21 sonic boom was 0.05 kilogram force per square centimeter, negative 0.7 psi, enough to shatter window glass but not much more, the concept proved promising. Of course, the MiG-21 is an extremely aerodynamic aircraft, devised to have minimal drag and thus minimal sonic boom. To produce a more powerful sonic boom, an airplane that is significantly less aerodynamic is required. The shape of an aircraft is even more important, because it is possible to target the sonic boom by generating it with flat surfaces rather than the round cross-sections of regular plane fuselages. According to Struminsky's research, some improvements to the MiG-21 airframe would boost the shockwave by 5 to 6 times, pushing it into the 5 psi range, enough to crumble buildings and cause casualties. However, in order to make such an unaerodynamic aircraft supersonic, massive thrust is required. Furthermore, the aircraft structure will have to withstand all of the drag and heat that comes with it. To truly weaponize the destructive force of a sonic boom, a special, extremely strong airframe and massively powerful engines are required. Struminsky was not appointed to the task by accident. After leaving Myasishchev Design Bureau, one of the leading Soviet experimental design bureaus at the time, where he worked on supersonic strategic bombers, he was appointed director of the Institute of Theoretical and Applied Mechanics of the Siberian branch of the Academy of Sciences of the Union of Soviet Socialist Republic in 1960. Nikita Khrushchev himself disbanded the bureau in 1960. Struminsky was one of several men responsible for this, men who actively spread the idea that because of the development of intercontinental ballistic missiles, strategic bombers had no future. As the bureau was disbanded, its head, Vladimir Mikhailovich Myasishchev, was relegated to be the head of the Central Aerohydrodynamic Institute, a prestigious and influential academic organization where Myasishchev had power to do almost anything except design aircraft, which he actually enjoyed. But he was accustomed to adversity. He had spent his entire life working on experimental airplanes, including several years in the Gulag, and nothing could deter him, even when airplanes were replaced by missiles. Myasishchev left TSAGI in 1967 and re-established his bureau, which immediately began working on cutting-edge spaceplane research and design. It also became the exact location to which Struminsky was dispatched with his Theme 25. One bureau employee predicted a war between Myasishchev and the man who had destroyed his dreams, Struminsky. However, this was not the case. As the two men met for the first time since 1960, they removed their jackets, sat by the table, and began a civil discussion between two scientists who wanted to create something no one else could. They discussed the concept of a sonic boom attack aircraft, its implementation, challenges, and research requirements. A detailed design proposal was immediately developed and sent to the ministry. Struminsky's Institute of the impossibly long name, Myasishchev's Bureau, TSAGI, and the Air Force were all behind the two designers. They worked separately, Struminsky in Novosibirsk and Myasishchev in Moscow, but the work was completed quickly. By the end of 1970, another round of tests with the MiG-21 had been completed. Several possible designs had been sketched out, and work on wind tunnel models was about to begin. The fuselage was to be flat and rectangular, with a sharp nose and cockpit in front. The underbelly would contain a ledge, which would extend during the attack and increase drag by 60%. Small ribs would protrude from the ledge's corners, further concentrating the shockwave. There were numerous proposals for aircraft sizes, with weights ranging from 20 to 165 tons. The one weighing 110 tons, with a fuselage length of 39 meters and a wingspan of 25 meters, was established the furthest and may be considered the most promising. Several wing configurations, including delta and conventional, were considered, as well as engine placements within the fuselage, under the wings, and between the tail fins. The engineers were mostly focused on the last one, but in order to implement it, they needed the engines themselves. The lack of those engines was possibly the main reason why the prototype of the M25, a combination of Struminsky's Theme 25 and Myasishchev's M, was never built. It was a common issue for Soviet aircraft designers, made worse by the project's singularity. The desired Mach number for the M25 to achieve maximum shockwave effect was 1.4, but the Bureau's most powerful engine at the time was the experimental Lipeck AL-21F, which could not operate above Mach 1.15. There were plans to use rocket boosters during the attack. That seemed reasonable, but it didn't help the project get past the bureaucracy it had encountered. Stanislav Gavrilovich Smirnov, the head engineer of Myasishchev Bureau and one of Myasishchev's lieutenants at the time, is responsible for almost everything we know about the M25 and its design process. He was assigned the task of recording the first meeting between Struminsky and Myasishchev, as well as writing down the project proposal. He was also the link between Moscow and Novosibirsk for Myasishchev's visit to observe Struminsky's work. Smirnov detailed his experiences with the project in a lengthy and exhaustive article published in Kryla Rodiny, a Russian aviation journal, in 2017. Smirnov's article is heavily focused on the dynamic between Struminsky and Myasishchev, which made an indelible impression on the young engineer. The M25, the result of that dynamic, is presented as a great achievement and an extremely promising aircraft, and there is a palpable sense of disappointment that the proposal was never completed. Simultaneously, Smirnov declares himself as a pacifist, condemning both the idea of using cutting-edge technological achievements for destructive purposes and a cheesy nickname later given to the M25, the Hell Reaper. Such a stance is perplexing but not entirely unusual. The man is a scientist, and the novelty of the idea and the difficulties in carrying it out were far more important to him than the reason why the experiment was funded. Smirnov also criticizes the Soviet bureaucracy in his article. He vividly describes the engineers' difficulties, the Communist Party's attempts to interfere with their activities, and the complaints some herostrati filed against scientists in order to be promoted. According to Smirnov, the M25, like many other promising projects, was killed by a broken system that gave power to inept and overzealous officials. The work on the M25 was stopped in 1972 after the party had got doubts about the real destructive power of such a weapon, and the engineers had been suspected of wasting money and time on useless research. And that's it for today, guys. We sincerely hope you enjoyed the video. If so, please click on the like button and share it with your friends and family. If you have any questions or comments, please share them with us in the comment space below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel to see even more of our incredible videos. You can also check out our other videos that have been specially selected for you. We'll catch up in the next video.